Welcome to Facts TV News, where everything is true. Man shot dead after allegedly trying to steal motorcycle from Black River Police Station. A man who allegedly attempted to steal a motorcycle from the Black River Police Station in St. Elizabeth was shot and injured on Saturday morning. He is now hospitalized and under police guard. In a statement Sunday, the police said about 3:40 a.m., a police officer conducting a routine patrol on the property saw the man attempting to move a motorcycle that was being held as an exhibit. The officer approached the man and a confrontation ensued, during which the officer shot the suspect. Head of the St. Elizabeth Police Division, Acting Superintendent Claret Minto, is warning residents not to interfere with lockups, exhibits, or any other government property at police stations. He noted that under his command, 3 persons have been arrested and charged for breaching lockups. Teacher at Enfield Primary in Westmoreland dies. The Enfield Primary and Infant School community in Westmoreland has been plunged into mourning following the death of teacher Kimon Tomlinson Williams. She died at hospital after a brief period of illness. Tomlinson Williams taught grade 3 at the Darliston Bay School. She was reportedly at school up to last Wednesday. The news comes as the local teaching fraternity grapples with the suspected suicide of veteran educator Andrea Mackenzie Allen, who retired recently after over 30 years at the St. James High School. Her husband reportedly found the lifeless body of the 60-year-old at their Coopers Hill home in St. James on Friday afternoon. Videographer charged for alleged shootout with cops in Manchester. A 29-year-old man has been charged after he and other men allegedly engaged in a shootout with the police, leaving 1 man dead in Montpellier district in Manchester last month. Jamar Darkins, a videographer of St. Paul's district in the parish, was charged with 5 counts of shooting with intent, possession of a prohibited weapon, and unauthorized possession of ammunition. Reports were that about 12:45 p.m., lawmen were in an unmarked service vehicle on an operation in the area when they were attacked by Dawkins, his brother, and other accomplices, who fired several shots at them. The fire was returned and one of the gunmen was fatally shot and a firearm was taken from him. Dawkins and the other gunmen escaped. On the same day, Dawkins visited the Santa Cruz police and made a report of his brother being shot and his involvement in the incident earlier when he was arrested. Following an interview session in the presence of his attorney, he was charged with the offenses. His accomplices are currently being sought by the police. A step closer to solving young Paulwell and mom's case. A lucky break, an investigation which would rival the best in the world, have left the police confident that they have cracked the case of the abduction and suspected killing of the 10-month-old daughter of Member of Parliament Philip Paulwell and her mother. In an almost unprecedented move, Deputy Commissioner of Police in charge of crime Fitzbailey on Friday named Leoda Bradshaw, even though she was not charged, as the main suspect in the abduction and suspected killing of 27-year-old Miss Patterson and her 10-month-old daughter Sarah Paulwell. Bailey did not name any of the 3 men who are also in custody in connection with the abduction of the daughter of Paulwell, the East Kingston and Port Royal Member of Parliament, and her mother. We think in the case of Miss Bradshaw, we have evidence that we could advance a case at this time, but we want to ensure that we cross all the T's and dot all the I's. And so, there are a number of things that are ongoing, and so we want to ensure that those have come to a conclusion before we proceed with the formal charging of her, DCP Bailey stated.
This investigation has morphed into a very complex case of kidnapping and conspiracy. The quality and potency of the evidence amassed thus far has led us to take into custody 4 persons in relation to this investigation. One of those persons is Miss Leoda Bradshaw, a 34-year-old petty officer in the U.S. Navy. The investigation is still ongoing. However, it is at an advanced stage. We continue to appeal to anyone with information to make contact with us. We also continue to engage our stakeholders. The persons in custody will go through a series of administrative procedures before formal charges are considered. There's a lot of misinformation that is swirling in the public, and we think in particular with Miss Bradshaw, we have evidence that we could advance a case at this time. But we want to ensure that we cross every T and dot every I. And so there are a number of things that are ongoing. And so we want to ensure that those have come to a conclusion before we proceed with the formal charging of her. Well, we are looking at a case of kidnapping. We are looking at a case of conspiracy to murder and other charges that will flow from that. The evidence that we have is very strong, and we'll allow the administrative procedures to be concluded before we make that determination, as there are legal issues that basically prevent us from saying much more. I'm convinced that we are on the right track. I'm convinced about the quality of evidence and the potency of the evidence. I am convinced when I look at the material that the evidence that we have garnered so far is very strong and very can stand up to any scrutiny in any court of law. And I must seize the opportunity to commend the people, the officers who are actually conducting this investigation. A lot of effort, it shows commitment, it shows tenacity. I mean, it shows that they really have the interests of this nation and the interests of justice at heart. And just as how the family members have a desire to see a closure to this matter, I think the officers are committed to ensure that the family members, they get closure to what I consider to be a very unfortunate situation, one that really forces any individual with a conscience to cringe.
Chang Lord's JCF unsuccessful conclusion of one done Clansman gang trial. The Minister of National Security, Dr. Horace Chang, has heaped praises on the members of the Jamaica Constabulary Force JCF for their relentless efforts that have led to the successful completion, conviction and sentencing of 15 members of the so-called One Done Gang and offshoot of the notorious Clansman gang. The two-year trial that started with 33 defendants concluded last week in the Home Circuit Court in downtown Kingston, with 15 members receiving various sentences. Confessed leader Andre Blackman Bryan received the most severe sentence of 39.5 years handed down by the Chief Justice. In a statement, Chang, who is also Jamaica's Deputy Prime Minister, lauded the police for their work. He described their effort as a tireless dedication to law enforcement. He said their work highlights the new impetus with which the JCF now operates. The Security Minister said the work to disrupt and dismantle gangs based in Spanish Town and across the island will continue. And he said the government will await official recommendations from the Director of Public Prosecutions and the police to see what additional amendments are needed to the anti-gang law. Additionally, he said there will be a review of the Criminal Justice Act. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, and click the